Good afternoon and good evening to all of the listeners and viewers all across the globe. My name is Ronak Harait, and I'm a solar energy engineer at Leidos Engineering based in Denver, Colorado. So I'll be presenting today on my work which I did during my master's thesis at Colorado School of Mines. The presentation is titled Simplified Modeling of Thermochemical Energy Storage for Power Tower System using System Advisor Model. I will start with giving the background of the project and background of my background. As I said, this is a work done by me during my master's thesis, and currently I'm working as a solar energy engineer, but I have done most of my master's thesis work using System Advisor Model. So the project background involves DOE targets. So this will involve making CSP viable using the technological advancements in thermal energy storage. So this allowed us to look into different kinds of storage materials and different kinds of storage methods. So according to the DOE target, we were looking for materials which would give us the target of $15 per kilowatt hour thermal. So to reach this target, Colorado School of Mines, NREL, and Abengoa formed a CSP Elements team, whose principal investigator was Dr. Greg Jackson, and other contributors are named below. So this work is primarily from my master's thesis project titled Thermodynamics of Doped Calcium Manganite for Thermochemical Energy Storage in Concentrating Solar Power Plants. So let me introduce first what is thermochemical energy storage for CSP plants. As you can see from the diagram here, which is by courtesy of Dr. Key from CSM, that this is a particle-based concentrating solar power plant with thermochemical energy storage. The concentrating solar power which is incident on the receiver is being received by the particles, and the particles are reduced from an oxidized state to a reduced state, from a cold storage tank to a hot storage tank. The energy which is stored in this hot storage tank is taken to a heat exchanger where the energy is converted from thermal energy to electricity. So currently, the CSP power plants used across the globe utilize thermal energy storage. We utilize either sensible or latent energy. Thermochemical energy storage, or TCS systems, utilize chemical energy stored in bonds. The chemical energy is stored during endothermic reduction when the concentrating solar power is incident on the receiver, and it releases energy during the exothermic oxidation when we are setting it through a heat exchanger as shown in the figure. Currently, System Advisor Model allows modeling of CSP power tower system with TES, or Thermal Energy Storage System. So this presentation attempts the design of CSP power tower system with TCES system, trying to utilize whatever is available in System Advisor Model. So currently there are two methods which are used in System Advisor Model for CSP modeling. The first one is the generic model. The generic model is where no fluid is selected as such, and the thermodynamic properties are defined by just the megawatt hour capacity of the fluid. So the TCS based system has less dollar per megawatt hour than the TES based system. This is basically the main reason why people are going for thermochemical energy based storage systems. The second model which is defined in SAM is the specific model, which allows us to define a heat transfer fluid or select a heat transfer fluid which is by default present in SAM. The properties are defined by the specific heat density and kinematic viscosity, etc. And cost calculations are considered separately in SAM. System Advisor Model has two types of heat transfer fluid, basically molten salt, which is defined inbuilt defined into the System Advisor Model. And it also allows us to have a user-defined fluid to be defined as a heat transfer fluid. So now I'll discuss about CSP with TCS using the generic model. As I said, the maximum thermal capacity and the thermal loss multiplier are the two main criteria that define the CSP with TCS using general model. Here you can see that the total number of hours of thermal energy storage is 10, and I have defined the maximum thermal capacity based on the properties that we have for the TCS material. The main disadvantage of this generic approach using SAM is that there is no control over the other thermodynamic properties of the heat transfer fluid. But the advantage or the pro of this is that it doesn't assume the flow type or the heat transfer or the power cycle. If we go for CSP design with TCS using specific model, then we are allowed to define a heat transfer fluid as shown in the figure, and this heat transfer fluid is defined in terms of the TCAS material that we have. The second thing that we define is the HTF inlet outlet conditions, which are defined by the figure as shown below, that the inlet and outlet temperatures are varying for our kind of TCAS materials. For example, the inlet temperature is at 900 degrees C and outlet temperature is at 500 degrees C, while the actual conversion efficiency is of 49%, which is for a supercritical CO2 cycle. So the advantage of a specific model is that it gives more control over the thermodynamic parameters than a generic model. So with this in mind, what we went ahead with is to design a 20 megawatt CSP with TCES and TES based system and compare their outputs using System Advisor model. So for System Advisor model using thermal energy storage system, which is by default defined in SAM, was as below. So I consider the general Mojave location in California for a 23 megawatt gross and 20 megawatt net output plant. Here the power cycle is controlled by a Rankine superheat steam cycle, and the pressure and temperature are 100 bar and 470 degrees C. The HTF inlet and outlet temperature are based on the heat transfer fluid of 60% NNO3 and 40% KNO3, and the number of hours of storage are considered to be 10 hours of storage. Similarly, for a TCES based system, the electrical output and the gross output are considered to be same. However, the power cycle was considered to be supercritical CO2 Brayton cycle. The pressure and was the same, that is 100 bar, but the operation temperature was 640 degrees C, which is the operation temperature to achieve a 49% efficiency. The auxiliary BOP actually consists of a Brayton cycle, therefore it consists of a compressor and recuperator, and the HTF heat inlet and outlet temperatures are based on the temperature defined for the heat transfer fluid for the TCES material. The type of TCES material is proprietary and I cannot give that information, but the thermodynamic properties are shown in the next slide. So for the model setup, the difference in the two models using TES and TCES based system was first the HTF definition. So the HTF definition was defined for the TES system was based on the molten salt based design, but for the TCES based system was based on the table as shown below. As you can see the table here, the SAM does not have the ability to define a TCES based system. So in order to counter that, what we did is we defined an effective specific heat, that is the specific heat of the TCES material if the total energy chemical plus thermal is considered to be as a basis of design. So we inputted these parameters in the user defined values function, which is a part of a System Advisor model. When we ran both these models, we found out that the energy produced from a TCES based system was about 91% of energy produced from a TES based system. This gave us a conclusion that the current TCES materials that we were looking at were not sufficient even to achieve a grid parity for similar TES based systems. So further research is being conducted currently in the labs at Colorado School of Mines to find out new thermochemical energy storage systems. The main challenges in the TCES design are something that I wanted to bring forward to all of the people here. So basically the system flow diagram is entirely different. Whatever flow diagram that is assumed for the TES based system in SAM is based on a steam turbine or a Rankine cycle. Secondly, the flow types which are defined in the System Advisor model are for a fluid type flow. The particle and fluid type flow are two different kinds of flow, and there are difference in the flow types as well as the heat transfer mechanisms. So SAM utilizes a heat transfer fluid flow. However, in order to define a particle-based system as shown in the diagram, we need to define a particle-based heat flow and a particle-based heat transfer. Secondly, SAM utilizes a superheat Rankine cycle, as I said, and now in order to implement a high efficiency conversion cycle, we need to implement a supercritical CO2 cycle as well. And finally, the parasitic load, which is being currently taken care by SAM by just changing the efficiency number of the parasitic load. The parasitic load efficiency numbers are different due to the bucket elevators that you see present here. These have a slightly lower efficiency than ones required for the heat transfer fluid type flow. As a solution for this, what we suggested is in order to use SAM to model this TCES based system, particle based system, we need to allow or implement a particle flow selection in SAM. Secondly, in order to implement the higher efficiency power cycle, we need to have a supercritical CO2 cycle as an option to being selected in system advisor model. The current system only uses Rankine cycle and uses the deaerator and other BOP systems like condenser for a Rankine cycle. In order to implement a Brayton cycle, we'll have to introduce a whole new BOP system which utilizes the compressor and other BOP for a Brayton cycle. Thirdly, for the parasitic load determination, it is just an efficiency number, and we need not change anything on the current SAM system. Finally, which is a question which I have in mind, is whether we can write our own script file that can be inputted into SAM. This can be in terms of a MATLAB file which can be inputted into SAM, which can help us solve this problem. In conclusion, an attempt was made to design the power tower with TCS systems using a system advisor model. The design parameters in SAM that were used were effective specific heat, which were defined for user-defined fluid. The parasitic load efficiency was changed, and the power conversion efficiency was different. Ideally, design parameters in SAM should allow the selection of particle-based fluid flow and implementation of other power cycles in order to implement TCAS-based CSP tower system entirely into SAM. And I would like to thank the SAM virtual conference team for allowing me to present during this conference. The DOE Department of Energy for supporting work on this project of my master's thesis project, the Elements team, Dr. Jackson, Dr. Braun, and other members at Mines, and Cristina Lopez and Daniel Coney from Abengoa, who have given me good input about the power tower system design, and Dr. Man, Dr. Martinek from NREL, who have worked on the design for the power tower. I would like to give a special mention to Michael Wagner, who has always helped me in the valuable inputs for these SAM system advisor modeling, and also Leidos Engineering and the team here for supporting me during this project. Thank you, and I would like to take any questions now.
Great, thank you for your presentation. As Ronak mentioned, we will now open the floor for questions. So if anyone has something they'd like to ask, please type it into the chat window. I think we have a question in the room.
This is Ty Nices at NREL. I'm trying to understand your system a little better, and I know other people in my group have worked with you and already understand it. Is it correct that your receiver outlet temperature is 900, and your storage temperature, is that also 900 with the power cycle going down then to a more manageable temperature for the SCO2 cycle?
Yes.
I'm just trying to track the temperature ranges there.
Yes, you're right. So at the outlet of the receiver, you have 900 degrees C, and the storage temperature is also 900 degrees C, which is ideal. I know there should be some temperature losses, but as you can see from the diagram, just one second. So as you can see from the diagram here, the storage system is placed really close to the receiver. So the thermal losses currently are considered to be negligible.
Right.
So at the outlet of the receiver, which is at 900, is directly connected to the hot storage tank, which is really close to the receiver.
Could you go to the slide with the SAM inputs and the temperatures?
Yes.
I think it was a few before this one.
This one?
I think you just had screenshots of the SAM UI.
Yeah.
Right, so here, did you find it all confusing to track the power cycle temperature, the receiver temperature, and then how that tied to storage? Because sometimes I feel like that's a little unclear.
Yes, I found it difficult, and mainly because you know, SAM only allows use of Rankine cycle, and Rankine cycle does not have the capacity to have these high inlet temperatures. So I could not incorporate a supercritical CO2 cycle just by changing the efficiency number. I mean, I did it, but the fundamental approach is wrong. So yeah, it was confusing in a way for me to implement this system.
Right. So the actual CO2 cycle that you want to model would have a much lower inlet temperature than what you're able to model in SAM because you can't break that up?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.